What's going on, guys? Working out in the garage now a little bit. Little power hour on the old Beetle here. Got the door installed. All the new hardware running it in, making sure it fits. Tapping all the holes again. So you got paint in them again. Got the fenders on in the back. And we get the door on this side tomorrow. Get down off the jack stands and sort of move it over. And probably move the bus or something in the booth there. Get a little more room in here to work on it. But it's coming along. I'm probably going to get a little help to get the front beam in there. I got a detail underneath there a little more. And then I need to lift the body up one more time to get the strips. They've already been cut to the proper length. And saw a thing on YouTube, guy that restores these a lot. And the dude makes rust proofing out of this stuff. He uses linseed oil and the toilet bowl rings. They go between the toilet and the pipe when you bolt the toilet down. And it has a real gooey consistency. And that's sort of the consistency of the sealer that the factory uses on these heater channels along the back. So it looked like a good mixture of stuff to use on the heater channel seals. So I think that's what we'll use, one of those toilet bowl seals and some linseed oil. Scooter even mentioned that he liked the consistency of that wax, because that's sort of what it is. It's sort of like a paraffin from the factory. That's why a lot of times when you take the seal off, you know, there will be nothing there, because a lot of times heat, you know, that stuff will drip out. But Volkswagen sealer today really likes the wax. So that's what we're gonna go with, sort of the original, but that's where we're at. Got all the stuff painted the other day. Repainted the car, all that stuff. I think we went through all that, but yeah, we'll get this emptied out in here. So I got 2 front fenders that won't fit on right now because the car's too close to the Nova, and the hood over there. Driver's door tag cover and the deck lid. And I get my hinges bolted on. Just went and spent $30 on nuts and bolts. So this thing has a lot of flop in it. You walk by and it's green, it's gray, it's all different colors now. So I thought I'd make a quick video. Easy Jeezy asked about this 356 motor. I wanted to get a little more detailed look at it, and really considering the age of the motor, it's sort of you know, it's a engineering marvel really for its time. This is a 5860 model, you know, so early 60s, very early 60s. The later 60 models had the P11 carburetors. These are I believe Zenith 2 barrels on this one. So these some guy in Europe offered me 400 euros a piece for these carburetors, but I'm gonna try to keep this motor together, guys, and try to rebuild it, take it apart. I know the cylinders are the most expensive part of this rebuild. You know, I like to buy a crank for it and a sump. Scat makes a nice little kit. I have a 1.5 quart sump, a 74 millimeter crank, and you know, you put a new set of piston cylinders on there and it makes it a pretty nice little motor. The problem with these piston cylinders are they're aluminum cylinders with chrome coated on the inside, and although it does turn over, it's sort of tight, and usually, you know, the cylinders are the first thing that get the moisture in there, and then the piston sticks to the chrome and messes the chrome up, and they're not very honeable. When I get it apart, I'll show you they have like little dots in them where you can see the actual aluminum cylinder through the chrome plating. Pretty interesting process. Works really well, but not a good motor to let sit. So Easy Jeezy wanted to see the valve train components on the 356. We'll take this apart. It's nothing like a Volkswagen, other than the bail arrangement and sort of the valve cover. It's a canted valve motor, so it's got like a hemispherical combustion chamber in it. And I don't know if you'll get to see that very good there. You can see the length of the exhaust rocker here is quite long. Here's the push rod over here, and here's the valve all the way up in the extreme corner of the head. So we have almost a shaft mounted rocker type situation here, you know, fulcrum type. It's a shaft that bolts to the two pads there, and the rockers in the center, and then the intake rockers are mounted in the center of the head, more of the original Volkswagen variety. Of course, the retainers, the valve springs are a little bit beefier. These motors from the factory will turn about 6,000 RPM, 65, you know, depending on the tune. And the carburetors, these are the smaller carburetors out of the two. So anyway, that's a look at the inside. Look at the breather system they had in 1958. Got a little ball in there with a screen, and these are vented. Where, I don't know, but they are vented, and that was a little ahead of its time, I think. You know, on the Volkswagens, of course, we put the breather box kits in to alleviate the crank pressure, but Porsche had a thing for it back then. You can see that ball still operates. The ball moves back and forth, and that ball traps that hole under hard cornering so it doesn't throw oil out of the vent. So yeah, let's look at the rocker arms. Let's look at the carburetor. This is all OEM. The banjo type fuel line, and then this probably is an OEM here, this cloth piece, but there is originally a rubber hose here in the back. This linkage is pretty cool. It's mounted on the back of the fan housing, which is pretty trick, and it has one little ball unit there, and that works the linkage. These carburetors are pretty synchronized from the eye, and all the arms, everything moves on them. The linkage operates freely, so pretty incredible for the age of the motor. These come with an 8-dowel crank instead of a 4-dowel. You know, it's got an 8-pen crank in it. The flywheel, I believe this is a 200 millimeter flywheel that had a 180 millimeter disc on it, so I don't know if there's a conversion set up for the clutch. I know there's a lot of stuff available for these, so this will be something that I get. Scooter probably will give me a hand with this one when he retires. It will be a cool motor to do together. But it's got the factory exhaust on there, canister type. There's a couple companies that are emulating those now and selling them for the Volkswagens. Saw them at the Pasco County show. They're making these out of stainless, and they make them for a bus. They make one for a sedan and one for a Ghia, and they got a pretty cool sound. I think a company called New Speed was the first company to make them, and I think there might be another company mass producing them now, because the ones at Pasco County were right under $500, and I think the New Speed one's a little more expensive. But moving on up here, we have a factory oil filter. That's what that unit is right there. It's got a canister type filter on it, and it oils right there off the top of the motor by the switch. I don't know if you can see that or not. So it's constantly filtering the oil, and that's pretty cool. You'd asked about this, let me move this YouTube garage hoodie. Everybody's got those out now, huh? Here we go, get another look at the motor. Again, they were pretty ahead of themselves. You want to know what this was here. This is the oil fill. And yeah, it's where you put the oil in there, and also a breather. So pretty cool. The O-ring's still in attack there. The lever works. Like I said, this is a pretty good representation of the piece of the air. Everything's here on this motor. I've never seen one this complete before. I've seen a lot of them for sale, but usually the motors aren't complete, and that's the problem with these motors. Everything is so expensive for them that if you have to start hunting sheet metal or fan housing or anything like that, it can be a real expense. This fan housing sells for 650 euros. If you look on the Samba, just the fan housing and generator, or just the fan housing without the generator. So they make an alternator kit, conversion kit to get a 12 volt. This is a 3-piece case. They make a 2-piece and a 3-piece, and I think this is probably one of the early 3-piece cases. You know, I don't know what year they went from the 2-piece to the 3, but I would say this is probably one of the earlier models. Centrifugal advanced distributor, not the OEM cast iron one. I do not believe. I think that's been monkeyed with. Factory fuel pump, sort of like a 36 horse as far as the location goes. And the exhaust ports on these are cathedral type, rectangle instead of round. And then the intake ports are also a little different shape than the Volkswagen, but very similar design. You can definitely see the similarities. But almost zero parts are interchangeable. I would think maybe that cap, maybe the rotor, maybe a distributor, I don't know. The coil, of course, maybe the oil pressure switch. But as far as anything else, I think you'd be, you know, hunting Porsche stuff. So this is a little project that I'll definitely be looking forward to, you know. But I definitely need to clear the deck. We got our Super 1600 build coming up. Gonna do that for Ken. So Ken, he's ready. He's waiting on me, and just trying to clean the shop out, get caught up with some stuff. So this car is number one priority right now. Try to get this out of here for my birthday, which is Thursday, I think. So yeah, that's the main goal. Get it all back together in one piece, and then I can at least take it down to Scooter's shop, and if he wants anything done to it down there, I'll be glad to come down there and do it. So really doesn't need to be buffed. It's pretty damn slick. Got a little bit of dirt here and there. I'll probably just rub over it with some 2000 Nivet. You know, it's got some very small trash. It's probably not even showing up. So little tiny stuff, and a lot of it's in the right spot, you know, right where the chrome's gonna be. So that's pretty cool. So anyway, that's where we're at. That's what's going on. I thought I'd show easy Jeezy that motor. So that'll be down the road. We'll get that apart, and it's got an Okrasa crank from the factory. You know, it's a pretty cool piece. We'll pull it all apart and let you look at all the stuff. And there's a lot of YouTube information on these. You can go search 356. Somebody asked me also if this is the same motor as the 912, and it's very similar. 912 would have had the P11s on it and a little more update. All right, guys, the battery light's flashing. Let me go ahead and shut this one down. You guys have a good one.